Hi to you watching this video. So for this video, we are now going to proceed with the direct count method. We're still on woodwork estimation. Okay, so we have here a flooring system, and we have here a zero point 0.3 by zero point 0.4 reinforced concrete beam, and we have here a wood ledger. So the wood ledger will be the would function as our floor joist nailer. Okay, and we have here a double floor joist partition, for partition. So our partition here is for area 1, and we have here for area 2. So when we have partition, take note, we apply double floor joist, okay, for reinforcement. Okay, so the area of the floor is 6.5 meter by 4.5 meter. Okay, so requirements. Wood floor framing materials. We need to estimate the wood floor framing materials. If we are to replace reinforced concrete beam, it should be replaced by a wood girder. So it is a structural member that will support our floor joist. So this is our floor joist, and it will be supported by a girder. And it is a double girder with space. And meron tayong bridge. Meron tayong bridge. Okay? Now, the wood ledger can be also replaced by a wood top plate on reinforced beam. So, if itong wood ledger natin dito, pwede siyang palitan uh, ng wood top plate dito sa RC beam natin. So, papalitan natin itong wood ledger, papalitan natin ng plate. Okay? So, let's start. We have here, the first thing that we need to estimate would be the ledger. So, it is a 2-inch by 6-inch wood ledger. So, it is bolted on both sides of the beam. So, if this is our ledger, nakabolt siya dito, both sides. Okay? Nakabolt siya sa ating reinforced concrete beam. Ganun siya anchor. So, we determine the length of our ledger. So, from here, ano ba yung length ng ledger natin? It would be 6.5 meters. Okay? So, from here up to here sa area natin. So, that is 6.5 meters. And we convert that to feet. So, 6.5 shift convert, that is 0.4. And that is equivalent to 21. So that is 21.325 feet. So that is rounded up to 22 feet. Now, considering our commercially available dimensions, what length would best fit our 22 feet? Take note, yung commercial size natin hanggang 20 feet lang. So, what I'm going to do is to combine two different lengths. So, let's say we have 10 feet plus 12 feet, and that is equivalent to 22 feet. Okay? So, number of pieces. Ilang piraso yung kailangan natin? We have one here, and we also have another here. Therefore, ang kakailanganin nating pieces is, we have 2 pieces of 2-inch by 6-inch by 10 feet, and we also have 2 pieces of 2-inch by 6-inch by 12 feet. Okay? So, yun yung kakailanganin nating kahoy for our ledger. Okay? Next would be the floor joist. So, ano ba yung floor joist? So, ito yung floor joist natin. This is our floor joist. Okay? So, our floor joist would be oriented this way. Nakapatong siya sa ating beam. Okay? So, that is the orientation of our floor joist. So, ano yung magiging length ng ating floor joist? So, take note, ito yung floor joist natin. Dalawang area natin, by the way. So, we have here for the area 1, iba yung haba for the area 1, iba rin yung haba for the area 2. So, for the area 1, we have here, for area 1, it is on top of our reinforced concrete beam. Okay? the on-center distance of our concrete beam is 4.5 meters. Therefore, from the center to the edge of the beam, that is equivalent to 0.15 meters. So we can now get the length of our floor joist. So the length of our floor joist on center distance of the beam is 4.5 plus half of the beam, 0.15 plus another half of the beam, that is 0.15. Therefore, the length of our floor joist is equivalent to 4.8 meters. And that is equivalent to how many feet? So we have 4.8 shift convert 0.4. And that is equivalent to 15.748. So we can round it up to 16 feet. Okay? Next is to identify how many floor joists are we going to have. Okay? So, tignan nyo siya in this view. If we are going to look at this view, ganito ang kanyang cross section. Okay? So, we will be seeing this in this cross section. Now, here, we have two area, isn't it? So, we have area 1 and we have area 2. So, if we are to look at this on area 1, so if we are to look at that on area 1, the length would only be 6.5 minus 3 meters. So, ang length lang natin dito is 3.5 meters. And that is an on-center distance. Okay, so 3.5 meter. So, that is not, no. 3 meters edge pala siya, sorry. So, it is an edge distance. Okay? So, that is an edge distance. But, our floor joist is spaced at 0.3 meter on center. Wait, let me show you. Okay. Ayun. It is spaced 0.3 meter on center. Okay, so be very careful with that. So, ang edge distance natin is 3.5 meters and ang on-center distance natin is 0.3 meters. Okay, so that would be 3.5. So 3.5 minus half of this floor joist, and that is 0.025. Then yung kalahati naman ng floor joist dito is also 0.025. So therefore, this is 3.5 minus 0.025 times 2. And that is 3.45 meters. So, yung span ng paglalagyan natin ng floor joist is only 3.45 meters. And take note, the spacing of your floor joist is 0.3 meters on center. So, 3.45 divided by 0.3 plus 1. Okay? So, ilan yung floor joist natin? We have 3.45 divided by 0.3 plus 1. Wala namang 12.5. That is rounded up to 13 pieces of 2 inch by 8 inch by 16 feet rough lumber. Take note that the on-center spacing should be less than or equal to 0.3. If it is less than 0.3, okay pa rin siya. Because take note, if we want 0.3 on-center distance, ang numbers ng floor joist natin is 12.5. But since we rounded up to a whole number, naging 13 na siya, it is expected that the on-center spacing would decrease and it would be less than 0.3, which is still safe as long as we did not exceed 0.3 meters. Okay? Next is for the area 2. Now, for the area 2, ito yung ating area 2. This is our area 2. We're still looking on this view. So this is my area 2. The length is 3 meters. And that is an edge distance. 3 meters here, 3 meters here. Okay? So, if we are to look at that, ito yung ano natin. This is our L2. This one is our L2. Now for the L2, the length of our L2 is simply 2 meters plus half of the beam because ito nakapatong siya dito. So 2 plus 0.15. So L2 is equivalent to 2 meters. No, yeah, 2 meters plus half of the beam plus 0.15, and that is equivalent to 2.15 meters. Okay. Now for the number of floor joist, take note that yung 3 meter is an edge to edge. So yung span na paglalagyan natin ng floor joist natin for L2, that would be 3 minus 0.025, half of the floor joist here, then half of the floor joist here. So minus 0.025. Therefore, that is 2.95 meters. So 2.95 meters divided by the on-center spacing of 0.3 plus 1. So ilan yan? We have 2.95 divided by 0.3 plus 1. That is equivalent to 10.83. And that is rounded up to 11 pieces. 11 pieces of wait, we convert this pala. 2.15 meters. 2.15, that is equivalent to 7.054 feet. And that is equivalent to 8 feet. So we have here 11 pieces of 2 inch by 8 inch by 8 feet rough lumber. But we're not yet done. Take note, meron ba yung header natin sa dulo is from beam to beam. Because if hindi natin ilalagay yan from beam to beam, walang pagkakapitan yung ating header. Wala rin pagkakapitan yung ibang half nung or the tributary area of this section. So yung tributary area nito is naka-support dito, then ito naka-support sa beam. Okay? That's why yung edge natin will be a beam to beam distance. So for our L1, we will be having yung katulad lang kanina, our distance would be 16 feet. Okay? So we are going to buy 2 pieces or we have 16 feet. So we have here 2 pieces of 2 inch by 8 inch by 16. So this is 1 piece of 2 by 8 by 16. This is 1 2 by 8 by 16. Okay? So ang na-compute natin dito is 11. Take note, yung 11 kasama na si dalawang L1. Therefore, ang kailangan lang natin na L2 is 11 minus 2 of L1. Therefore, we only need we have here 8 feet. We only need 9 pieces. Okay, so 11 minus 2, we only need 9 pieces of 2 inch by 8 inch by 8 feet rough lumber. Okay? Next to be estimated would be the header. So this is our header. Now for the header, it will simply be the distance of from L1 to another L1. Okay? So if this is our L1, this is also our L1, para mapako natin yan so we can nail this one, the distance would only be from here to here para we can anchor it here and we can nail it here. Okay? So the distance is, or the length rather, is equivalent to 3 minus 0.05 for this one minus 0.05 for this one. Therefore, the length is equivalent to It's equivalent to 2.9 meters. Okay? And that is equivalent to 9.514 feet. So 9.514 feet. And that is equivalent to 10 feet of of lumber. Therefore, we only need to buy one piece of 2 by 8 by 10 rough lumber. So after we're done with the header, we now proceed with the bridging. Okay, so the bridging would help us lessen the swaying. Okay, so ito yung in-explain natin sa video kanina. If you have here the unsupported length, and take this would be the top portion, this would be the bottom portion. If masyado nang mahaba yan, and habang nagkakaroon ng pag-sway. Okay? So, pag ganun yung nangyayari, nagkakaroon tayo ng pag-sway, in order to avoid this, we are going to place a support here or yung sinasabi nating bridge. Now, pansinin niyo, even if I am going to apply a certain load, mas nabawasan yung pag-sway uh, ng unsupported length natin. Okay? So, with that, we can now proceed with our bridging. Okay? According here, one of the function of bridging is to distribute the load on the floor to the other joist and over time prevents floor from sagging and squeaking due to floor joist twisting and warping. Okay, so we are going to place our uh, uh, bridging. For area 1, we need to determine the length of our bridging. Okay, so this is our area 1. So this is our area 1. Our bridging is oriented this way. So the length of our bridging is 3.5 meters. Okay, so but we need to subtract the area to be occupied by the floor joists. Okay, so 3.5 meters minus how many floor joists are there for area 1. So for area 1, we were able to solve for 13 pieces of floor joist. So that would be 3.5 minus 13. Now, what is the thickness of the floor joist? The thickness of the floor joist, take note, it is 2 inch by 3 inch. So, it would be 0.05. So, 0.05 meters. Therefore, our length is equivalent to, we have 3.5 minus 13 times 0.05, and that is equivalent to 2.85 meters. And in feet, that is equivalent to 9.35 feet, and that is equivalent to 10 feet for commercial length. Okay, after that, we were already finished identifying the length of our bridging. The next thing to determine is how many of them would fit or will be used for area 1. So for area 1, the number of bridging is equivalent to the unsupported length divided by the on-center spacing. So ano yung ating unsupported length? Our unsupported length is the length that is not being supported by the column. So that would be 4.5 minus half of the column here and minus 5 minus half of the column here. So that would be 4.5 meters minus 0.15 kalahati times 2 kasi dalawa sila. Okay? Divided by an on center spacing of 1.2 meters. So that would be equivalent to 4.5 minus 0.15 times 2 divided by 1.2. And that is equivalent to 3.5. 3.5. And that is rounded up to 4 rather. To 4 pieces. But there is a problem here. That 4 pieces, if you are going to lay it out, this 4 pieces here, there we the 2 pieces will be coinciding with the column. Okay? So that defeats the purpose, no? Kasi yung purpose ng bridging is to distribute the load and to lessen yung pag-sway or pag-sway ng ating floor joist. So, if may support na siya sa column, then wala na siyang silbi. That's why we are going to subtract the column or uh, the bridging that would coincide with the column, and we have two of them. So ang mangyayari niyan is 4 pieces minus 2. Therefore, we will only be needing 2 pieces of 2 inch by 8 inch by 10 feet rough lumber. So that is for area 1. Now for area number 2, we have here area number 2. So for area number 2, this would be our length, the length of the bridging, while the number of bridging is 2 meters. Dito natin kukunin. So for the length of the bridging, it is 3 meters minus the number of floor joists times its thickness. So we have 3 minus. So for the floor joist, ito siya. I repeat, that is 3. So 3 minus. So this is L1. This is also L1. We're going to include the 2 L1. So a total of 11. So we were able to solve 11 a while ago. So this one is 11 pieces. So 11 times 0.05 meters. And that is equivalent to 3 minus 11 times 0.05. And that is equivalent to 2.45 meters. And if we are to convert that into feet, that is equivalent to 8.038 feet. And the nearest commercial length is 10 feet. Now for the numbers of bridging here, we are going to consider the length of 2 meters. So 2 meters, yung gagamitin natin, 2 meters minus half of the width of the beam. Now take note, dito ang na-occupy lang natin for the bridging here would be 0.15. Dito wala tayong uh, wala tayong tinamaan na column, rather nakadikit siya sa header natin. That's why we are only going to subtract 0.15. So 2 minus 0.15 times 1 lang siya divided by the spacing of the bridging, which is 1.2 meter on center. Therefore, that is equivalent to 2 minus 0.15 divided by 1.2. And that is equivalent to 1.542, or that is equivalent to 2 pieces. Okay? But again, if we are to lay it out, 1.2 plus 1.2, dalawang 1.2 natin. So, dalawa yung bridge natin. So, there will be 3 spaces. Tama? 1.2 plus 1.2. That is 2.4 plus another 1.2. We are going to exceed yung sa 2 meters natin. Okay? Ay, yeah, tama. So, ang mangyayari, isa lang ang kailangan natin, di ba? 1.2. So, plus another 1.2. Pasok na tayo sa 2 meters dito. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, the other piece will coincide with the beam. So, we need to subtract that. So, 2 pieces minus 1, which is coinciding with the beam. Therefore, we will only be needing 1 piece of 2 inch by 8 inch by 10 feet rough lumber. And that is for area number 2. Okay? So, next would be our TNG flooring. So, we are already done with our, what do you call this? We are already done with our ledger. We are already done with our floor joist, with our header, with our bridging. And lastly, we need now to install our TNB flooring. Now for the TNB flooring, we are just going to solve for the area of the floor. But this time, we are only going to consider the area inside or outside the the wall studs. Kasi hindi natin dadaanan yan. Imagine, ito yung TNG flooring mo. If dadaanan natin yung wall studs, hindi natin may erect yung ating wall studs. Okay? Therefore, nakapatong naman na dyan yung ating floor joist. So, there's no need to encroach TNG flooring sa loob ng wall studs. It is outside the wall studs. Okay? So, we are going to simply solve for the area. So, the length here, based dito, we have, this one is 2.15. Okay? So, yung other half dito is 0.15. So, we have 2.15. Tapos, we have here 3 meters. So, for area 1, wait, nagkapalit si area 1 at saka si area 2. This should be area 1 and this should be area 2. Now, for area 1, it is 3.5 by 4.8. Now, if we're going to check it here, what we did here was a single ledger. Okay? According, single ledger lang yung ginawa natin. But we have, we solved, but wait. Saan na yan? Yun. If we are to convert or replace a reinforced beam with a wood girder, we should have at least double girder with space. Now, what we were able to solve here is a wait, no. What we solve here is a girder pala. Yeah, it's not the ledger. Okay? Ledger yung sinolve natin, it's not the girder. Okay? So yeah, we stick with the reinforced concrete. Now, since this one is a reinforced concrete, the error here is hindi ito studs. Okay? But what if studs, if we were able to use studs instead of column here, we are going to subtract the area for the studs. Okay? Now, if this is a beam naman, ang isusubtract natin would be the area of the beam. Now, since that this is the figure here, we are going to consider that this one is a stud. So for area 1, we have here, wait, let's confirm the length. Okay? So the length here is 4.5 minus 0.15 minus 0.15. So for the area, this should not be 4.8. Yeah, it is 4.8 from edge to edge. So, okay. So we're going to consider edge to edge without assuming that it is not a reinforced concrete beam but it is wall studs. Okay? So let's use this dimension. So 4.8, the area 1 is equivalent to 4.8 minus 0.75 here minus 0.075 here. That is for the wall studs times the length here, which is 3.5 minus the area of the wall stud, minus the length of the wall stud here. So that is equivalent to 3.5 minus 0.075, and that is for area number 1. So 4.8 minus 0.075 times 2 times 3.5 minus 0.075, and that is equivalent to 15.93 square meters. Okay? Now, for area 2, we have here 3 minus 0.075 times, we have here 2. Actually, it's 2.3, not 2.15. Kasi ito, half would be 0.15, pero ang kinonsider kasi natin dito is the whole section. So, this is not 2.15, rather 2.3 meters. Okay? So, 2.3 times, or minus rather, minus 0.075. Ay, hindi kita. Minus 0.075 here. So, yan. So, the area number 2 is equivalent to 3 minus 0.075 times 2.3 minus 0.075. And that is equivalent to 6.51 square meters. Or, pwede naman mag 3 decimal tayo dito. Okay? So, 6.508 plus, we have here, aling nauna kanina? 15,926. So, 22.434 square meters is the total area. Now, for the tongue and groove, take note that the width of the tongue and groove is 4 inch by 1 inch. Okay? Now, we are going to use the area method, but area method naman for this one. So, how many 0.1 would fit into a 1 meter? So, 1 meter divided by 0.1 is equivalent to 10. But we need to increase it by 22% due to shrinkage. Therefore, this is equivalent to 12.2 pieces per square meters. Okay? Now, let's get how many board foot would be there in a 1 square meter. So, we have here for the board foot, the width is, or the thickness is 1 inch times the width of 4 inch times 1 meter is equivalent to 3.28 feet divided by 12 feet. So, ilan na yan? So, 1 times 4 times 3.28 divided by 12, that is equivalent to 1.093 board foot. Okay? Board foot. Now, we need to convert that board foot to board foot per square meter. So, we multiply 12.2. So, times 12.2, we have 13.339 board foot per square meter. So, the total board foot is equivalent to our area. Our area is equivalent to 22.434 square meters. So, square meters will cancel out. And we have 13.339 board foot per square meters. So, times 22.434 is equivalent to 299.24 pieces. Or no, board foot rather. Okay, unit analysis, natira sa atin is board foot. Now, for the board foot, how many 1 by 4 by 10 ang kakailanganin natin? Okay? So, but before we can do that, we need to divide this 299.24 board foot by the factor of the 1 by 4 by 10. So, yung factor natin is equivalent to 1 times 4 times 10 divided by 12. And that is equivalent to 3.333 board foot per piece. So, 299.29. So, for the number of 1 by 4 by 10, kung ilang piraso is equivalent to 299.24 board foot divided by our factor, which is 3.333 board foot per piece. Board foot will cancel out and will give us pieces. So, 299.24 divided by 3.333. And that is equivalent to 89.781 pieces. And that is rounded up to 90 pieces of 1 inch by 4 inch by 10 feet for our P&G flooring. Okay? So that is for our flooring system.